we forget them. Because we're so conditioned to saying, oh, the last electricity bill was a bastard, so we need more money from the government. Well, the government hasn't got any more money. The last big lie of Australian politics is told by both sides, and that is that the electorate can continue to expect to get more money, can expect to get more from government while paying less for it. And that's over. Our demographics, the health inflation rate, and what our education rate should be mean it's over. Queensland didn't sell off QR and the Port of Brisbane because they suddenly turned wild private enterprise zealots. They had to because they needed the money elsewhere. And that's the same story in every state in this Commonwealth. So those who want to get ahead have to realise they've got to do it themselves. It's an important lesson to get, but if you get it, gee, it puts you ahead of the pack. I've got time for one bit of late-breaking news.
A new report from the Department of Labour finds an increasing number of American workers are outsourcing their jobs. For more on this crucial issue, let's go to Joshua Russell in the Money Room.
Thanks, Brendan. For years, corporations have been outsourcing their labor to developing nations as a way to cut costs. But recently, many individual employees have been sending their own work overseas.
I take the money that I would have spent on coffee and pay someone in India to do my job for me. It's allowed me to unleash my full potential.
Philadelphia accountant Donald Felton outsources the majority of his daily workload to Jahanara Kashem, an accountant based in Bangalore, India.
I get my assignment from my supervisor and I send it off to Jahanara. Sometimes I'll look at it when it's done, but usually everything's right.
Mr. Kashem says he's extremely happy with the 68 cents an hour Donald pays him.
I'm able to feed my family, and Mr. Felton can devote more time to his fantasy football team.
And Donald is just one of the close to 700,000 workers who've come to rely on overseas labor.
I've actually gotten 2 raises since Jahanara started. He's really good at doing my work.
But it's not just lower-level employees who've embraced the trend. At Donald's firm, many senior-level managers are now outsourcing their jobs as well. Workers representing the company's executive officers meet via conference call every Friday.
That is totally unprofessional.
Management would agree with those cuts. He feels very strongly we need the consulting
We
division.
need paradigm shifting in position.
Some overseas workers have done so well, they've been able to outsource their own outsourced work to those even poorer than themselves.
I pay a starting manager company one handful of times per day to fill out the expense reports that are sent to me from the UN.
Analysts predict that if the trend continues by 2025, the world's poorest man, Ahmed Khalili of Afghanistan, will be doing 83% of the globe's work. It's a scenario that would suit Donald Felton just fine.
I'm trying to get to a point where I can just lay in one place and not have to do anything ever.
With the Onion News Network, I'm Joshua Russell.
Oh, look, unfortunately that is satire. You can't actually go back to the office and arrange it, but like all good satire, there are elements of truth to it. What has changed in this world is the globalisation of the labour force. Work increasingly goes to the most efficient place to do it. But workers also travel more often to where the work is, and then there's another class of workers who just go to where they want to be and take their work with them. That has changed the fundamental nature of the economy in a way that the cycle doesn't explain. One of the impacts is to change the economy into making it hyper-competitive. A lot of times I put up that graph of 20 years growth, and particularly people in small, medium enterprise say, hang on, if it's been that good for that long, how come I'm running twice as hard just to stand still? That's because you don't want to confuse what part of the cycle we're in with what we have fundamentally become, and that is hyper-competitive. Everything now is measured. Everything is comparative shopped. The consumer is smarter than he or she has ever been. The combination of technology, the globalisation of the workforce has built up expectations of always being able to get better for less. What counts in that environment? Well, you lose pricing power. Unless you're at the top, you lose pricing power. And to be average in anything is becoming hell. You know, you're working for your landlord. What counts then is providing a genuine service, is being creative, is having an edge. And those 3 things all come from one thing, and that is your team. It's your own skills and talents, and it's those of the people you work with, the people you work for, Your customers are part of your team. Some customers aren't worth having on your team. Your suppliers of equipment and gear and software and hardware, your association is part of your team. I think if you can accept that we are actually very good at adding value, that when it comes to the push, Australians can work well, very well in teams and move forward. If you can accept that we have an opportunity and that our economy is fundamentally underwritten for the next decade or so, and that it is education and training that has our future now and beyond it, I think you realise you wouldn't want to be in business anywhere else on earth. Thank you.